Who you are today did not appear out of nowhere. Your reactions, habits, fears, and emotional reflexes were shaped slowly, long before you had the language to understand them. Childhood is often where these patterns begin, because it is the first environment where you learned what felt safe, what felt threatening, and what you needed to do to belong. But while childhood plays a powerful role in shaping us, it does not have the authority to define who we remain forever. As children, we do not choose our environment. We adapt to it. We develop behaviors that help us survive emotionally. If love felt conditional, you may have learned to please. If emotions were ignored, you may have learned to suppress them. If chaos was present, you may have learned control or hypervigilance. These responses were not weaknesses. They were intelligent adaptations to circumstances you did not create. Because of this, it is true that adulthood often carries traces of childhood. Our nervous system, our beliefs about relationships, and our sense of self frequently reflect early experiences. Someone who felt supported may find it easier to trust. Someone who felt unsafe may become more independent or guarded. These patterns are understandable when viewed through the lens of survival. However, where many people become stuck is in believing that childhood permanently determines adulthood. This belief can quietly become a prison. A difficult childhood does not doom someone to a difficult life, just as a loving childhood does not guarantee confidence, fulfillment, or success later on. Childhood influences us, but it does not control us unless we continue to hand it that power. Some people grow up in stable, supportive homes and still struggle deeply as adults. They may lack direction, resilience, or emotional depth because comfort alone does not teach self-leadership or purpose. Difficulty later in life often becomes the first real teacher. At the same time, many people who experience hardship develop strength, clarity, empathy, and determination. Not because suffering is good, but because humans are capable of transforming adversity into awareness. What matters most is not whether childhood was good or bad, but whether its influence remains unconscious. When early experiences are never examined, they continue to shape behavior automatically. You may react strongly to situations that resemble old emotional wounds. You may repeat patterns that once protected you but now limit you. This does not mean you are broken. It means old survival strategies are still running the system. But here is an important turning point that many people avoid. At some stage in adult life, continuing to blame childhood for present failure becomes harmful. Understanding your past can bring compassion, but clinging to it as an explanation for why you cannot change keeps you stuck. Childhood may explain how certain patterns formed, but it cannot be used as a lifelong excuse for staying where you are. If you find yourself thinking, "I am like this because of my childhood, and that's why I can't succeed, can't commit, can't grow," then that thought must eventually be challenged and released. Not because your pain wasn't real, but because repeating that story gives the past authority over your future. Blame may feel protective, but it quietly removes responsibility, and with it your power. Growth begins when understanding turns into ownership. Ownership does not mean blaming yourself for what happened to you. It means accepting that while you didn't choose your childhood, you are responsible for who you become next. Awareness creates choice. Choice creates change. And change cannot happen while responsibility is outsourced to the past. Healing is not about endlessly revisiting childhood. It is about integrating it, learning from it, and then moving forward differently. The brain remains adaptable far beyond childhood. Emotional patterns can soften. Beliefs can be questioned. New responses can be practiced. This requires effort, honesty, and patience, but it is always possible. A good childhood does not guarantee success, and a difficult childhood does not prevent it. What truly determines adult life is whether you stay identified with the past or use it as information rather than identity. The moment you stop saying, "This is who I am because of my childhood," and start asking, "Who do I choose to be now?" the balance of power shifts. In the end, childhood may have shaped the foundation, but adulthood is where responsibility begins. The past explains you, but it does not limit you, unless you allow it to remain in control. Let understanding lead to compassion, but let responsibility lead to action. That is where freedom begins. If this reflection resonated with you and you want to continue exploring mindset, personal growth, and emotional clarity in a calm and honest way, consider subscribing to the channel. You'll find more thoughtful videos to help you move forward with awareness and responsibility.